for you this evening. We're starting from the education front because the Minister in charge of education, Haruna Idrisu, has announced plans to review and restructure the classification system of senior high schools nationwide in a bid to tackle the recurring challenges with the computerized school placement system. Under the proposed arrangement, 10 Category A schools will be reclassified as Category B, while another 10 Category B schools will be upgraded to Category A status. The Minister of Education says the realignment will be accompanied by major infrastructure and expansion to promote equality, equity, and fairness in student placements. This latest move comes amid mounting frustration among parents and students, many of whom have been visiting the School Placement Solution Center to rectify placement issues. It has been almost 2 months since the West Africa Examination Council, WAEC, released the results of the 2025 Basic Education Certificate Examination, followed by school placement by the Placement Secretariat. Yet, with only 3 days remaining before first-year students are expected to reopen or report to school, thousands of candidates are still struggling to secure final placement. Let's listen to the Minister Haruna Idrisu, who addressed a news conference earlier today in Accra.
The Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service is working diligently in a manner which is open, transparent and accountable. But we do accept that there is a challenge. When you have vacancies of 76,000 and you have applicants desiring to fill 76,000 with 393,000, you definitely will have a difficulty and struggle as I'm struggling. It could be any of you sitting here as Minister for Education. How can you fill 76,000 vacancies with 393 qualified applicants? That's a near impossibility. So we are doing our best. Category A, Category B, Category C, justifiably, every parent wants a child to be in a Category A school, but we haven't. In the last month, we haven't expanded infrastructure at any Category A school to have done the magic for us. My thinking, in order that we respect equity, will be that into 2026, and I've had consultations and discussions with the President, I have his support and blessing, is to convert at least 10 category schools to Category B schools, then convert 10 Category B schools to Category A schools, and that will be backing it with infrastructure, with available classroom blocks, dormitories for students, and quality improvement by way of improved teaching, and then learning materials and learning aids.
So that's the voice of Haruna Idrisu, the Minister in charge of education in Ghana. For further insights, let's engage Dr. Peter Pateyanti, Executive Director for the Institute for Education Studies, IFEST. Dr. Peter Pateyanti, good evening, and thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Good evening. This is Martin, right?
Yes, this is Martin.
Yeah, bro.
How do you react to the minister's proposal that they are going to reclassify a number of second cycle institutions where up to about 10 of the Category A schools are going to be more or less stepped down or downgraded, and then those in Category B, about 10 of them upgraded? How do you understand all of this?
Well, perfect proposition from the Minister of Education. If you listen to what he was saying, he didn't say they were going to downgrade A to B. He said they were going to upgrade 10 Category C to B and then 10 Category B to A. And then they would now improve on some of the Category A schools. I think that there's been some misrepresentation in terms of the communication that was taken out. I've taken my time to listen to the
audio. Is that so?
So he was saying moving from Category C to B and then 10 from B to A. So there's no downgrading here, because that would have been not move a school from a higher category to a lower category. It means that you are failed as a policy person within the education system. So he was saying that they are going to move 10 category C's to B and then 10 category B's to A. And for me, that's a perfect proposition. Over the years, I've been saying several times that one of the measures of a good education minister should be the number of category A schools that he's able to create. Because we have had the same category A schools for a long period of time. And that is what everybody also wants to have, get admission into. So if a minister now believes that we can increase the number of category A schools from the 88 thereabouts to, let's say, 120 or 110 or 100, then it means that that minister is thinking progressively, and we need to give him all the support that he deserves.
It's interesting you bring this clarity to it, and I'm sure that many must have missed what exactly the minister said, because the general perception making round is that he said the opposite of what you are saying, or what we had also put out earlier, that 10 category A schools will be reclassified as category B. But you are saying it's the reverse, that from C, 10 category C schools will be upgraded to category B, and then 10 from B to A.
B to A. So if you listen in context, he said that category A, B, C, that is in the right direction. He said something like that. Then he said category C, 10 category C schools to B, and then 10 category B schools to A.
Right.
So that is, I know, but I've spoken with the assistants and other people, and I think that is what he was communicating.
Right. Okay. But let's look at why, or what makes a school a category A, B, or C, and why, like you indicated, have we had, for instance, a Chimota school, the Prempeh colleges, the Adisadels stay at category A for over decades, and what exactly has been the challenge of the so-called category C and B schools from naturally progressing to be category A, unless, like in this instance, the minister is the one saying that we are going to deliberately reclassify them as category A?
Yeah, so I don't know if, Martin, you have time. You have to get time and work through this. So there are variables.
Can you sum it up for us?
We have variables such as infrastructure, WASI performance, teaching quality, the discipline, performance in co-curricular activities, and then I think there are about 6 main variables that we look at. And these variables gives us an indication where you classify a school, a secondary school in Ghana, whether they are either category A, B, or C. So all the category A schools mean that they are performing well in all these variables. But the most important, interesting thing about this is that the rest of the variables are all input variables. The only output variable is WASI. It means WASI performance. It means that to create a category A school, it means that there should be a deliberate policy by the policymaker to, one, improve teaching quality, to improve the infrastructure. And then when you improve teaching quality and improve infrastructure, the fourth variable that comes in is demand, that is student preference when it comes to school placement. So when you are able to touch these two, you are automatically improving demand for that particular school, and you're automatically improving WASI performance, which is the output variable. So anybody within the education system and who wants to really change the various categories of schools, all that you need to do is to improve infrastructure and supply the schools with the needed resources so that the school will have improved teaching quality. When you get these two, your WASI performance would improve, and then the preference or the demand for the school would also improve. And automatically, the school will move from the category it is into a higher category. So that is what we've been thinking. I think I've been saying this over the years, that any minister of education who really wants to transform our educational sector, we need to just touch the input variables and make sure that they are performing well. As soon as you do that, the school itself will become attractive and people would want to enroll into that school. What other ministers have been doing over the years is to still go back to the category A schools and then improve infrastructure. So you go to a school like Infantry, you see that they are still building classrooms there. You go to automata, they are improving, they are building some classrooms, you go to this school. That is what we have been doing. In doing that, what you are doing is that you are still pushing pressure onto the limited category A schools. But any visionary minister will look at how do I bring about 10 category B schools and then improve on their infrastructure, teaching quality, so that their performance will improve and the preference and demand for that school will also improve. And if that happens, those schools will be classified as category A schools. And if you do this for the next, let's say, 6 years, you have a lot of the schools having a higher performance rate, and parents will have diverse schools to select when it comes to school placement. Doing that, you solve the problem of school placements that always come about every year.
Right. And my last question would be, would this really ease the pressure on the category A schools, in that improving a category B school by giving them more infrastructure, increasing the quality of teaching, etc., does not necessarily, equalize years or decades of popularity of the category A schools, which, I mean, I'm sure you and I will agree that is one of the attracting factors. People just want to say, I also attended this school or that school. So are we sure that this strategy the minister is proposing, where we are looking at increasing infrastructure, getting more quality teachers, improving quality items, research, etc. in those schools, would automatically over time start attracting people to some of these schools?
Yes, I like the word over time. So it's not going to be an immediate, there will not be an immediate result. It's going to be a gradual process. And that is why I said it's progressive. So if you're able to do this within the next 3-4 years, you will have about, let's say if he's able to do 10, you have about almost 100 category A schools. And that means that you have 10 more coming to join the 88 that we already have. And that will ease the pressure, and people will select it. You see, for some time, we didn't even know of Manfi Girls. I know you know that. Now it's a big, it's one of the big schools that people would want to take their awards in. It takes time. So some schools have history, some schools are having the names already.
Prestige.
But with improvements in performance consistently over a period of time, parents will start moving their awards in there. That is what we need, diversity, so that we reduce the pressure on the already existing category A schools that every year people want to enter. Okay.
Dr. Peter Patianti, thank you so much for your time this evening. And certainly in the coming days, we would still keep very close eyes on this development. Dr. Peter Patianti, Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFEST. And if you are a parent, a guardian, someone who's interested in Ghana's education space, what do you make of this proposal by the minister? And clearly, it's something that some have commended, and you just had our resource person also commend the fact that it is long overdue for us to try and reclassify some of these schools. But let's find out from Daniel Fenyi, who is the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Education. He's joined us for a quick chat. Mr. Fenyi, good evening, and thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Hello, good evening, and thank you for having me.
What went into this proposal by the minister that we need to reclassify some of our already existing Category A schools, the B and C schools as well, and upgrade them? Is it because of the pressure we are currently seeing in terms of people trying to get placement into the schools?
So thank you for the opportunity. Now, this is what happens. The conversation is beyond just reclassifying the various institutions. Once you mention grade A or grade B, it has implications. Implications are that you are improving infrastructure, you are improving quality, you are improving access, you are improving the teaching and learning materials, you are improving everything else. And so the ultimate focus is that we are improving senior high education generally in the country. And by that, it will imply that there are some grade B schools that will automatically move to grade A because you have improved their facilities, improved their infrastructure. There are some grade C schools that will also move to grade B because you are improving. So the classification is a natural consequence of your improvement of the education system. And that is the focus of the Minister for Education's agenda. The ultimate agenda is that we are going to embark on a massive and aggressive improvement of the Ghana education system, right from even the basic level to the senior high school level. And when we are able to do that, because there's the political will, there's the desire, there's the strength, and then the effort and actions are being put in place. Once we do improvement agenda, naturally some grade B schools will become grade A, and then some grade C schools will also become grade B. So it is not just about classifications. After all, there are some schools of thought that believe that we should even take off their classification because it is making some people long for particular categorizations of particular schools because those schools belong to a particular category. And so some even believe we should take it off. But others believe that no, why don't we rather improve the education infrastructure that we have in the country? Why don't we improve on the teaching and learning materials? Why don't we improve on the quality of education? And once we improve on these, naturally, these classifications will shift or will tweak here and there. And so we don't even want the argument or the focus to be on just classification. I mean, there's no way, right? There's no way that you can just all of a sudden enter a school like... this is just an example. A school like Asiedu Senior High School, and just label it as category A, and all of a sudden people will choose it over Legon.
Absolutely. It's one of the concerns that I was raising, right? That maybe it looks as though, I mean, and maybe we are oversimplifying what the minister said, that because we have reclassified a category C or B school to a higher level, then it means that automatically over time people will start going. But, you know, some people want to just be associated with the school that has prestige over time or has a certain level of popularity, so that they can, after school, they can also boast that I attended this school. Are we confident that this proposal by the minister over time, with the right structures put in place, can actually churn out the right people who will be confident to say that I attended this school, irrespective of which category it has been placed in?
Indeed, once we are able to improve, and I continue to mention that because there are practical actions being put in place. And so once we are able to improve upon the quality across the board, over time, people will get to realize that, oh, I can attend any senior high school and still turn out to become my medical doctor, turn out to become my engineer, turn out to become my lawyer, turn out to become my teacher. Or if I'm interested in the STEM schools too, turn out to be an AI expert, a robotics expert, or a Treve school, then we are looking at plumbing, electrician, and all that. So the focus is that we are improving on the quality of education we have in this country. And once that improvement comes, the classifications will naturally. So let's consider the classifications as a consequence of improvement. Once the improvement comes, the classifications will naturally also tweak or shift here and there. And that is the commitment we assure Ghanaians that under our watch, under our administration and leadership, they should expect a huge improvement in the quality of education, in the quality of access, in the quality of teaching and learning materials, in the quality of even the teachers who deliver the lessons. And once that is done, no one would now crumble for a particular school because they want a particular quality or access or an improved teaching and learning material and all that. But once you get any school at all, you know that any place I get
should be good enough.
The facilities, the teaching and learning materials are all of high standard, and so I can obtain the quality education that the category A or category B schools are offering anywhere.
So I'm sure we are looking at regional distribution as well, because again, then it has put extra pressure on even parents whose wards say they want to attend a particular school, most of it in the capital cities or the big cities. So are we looking at ensuring that this reclassification and improvement in the second cycle institutions across the country is actually broad-based, so we don't put pressure on just the big cities?
Let me assure you that the improvement of the quality of education in Ghana is a national agenda. It's a national agenda. When I say national agenda, I mean it covers all the 16 regions of the country. We have already identified some regions that do not have any category A school at all. For example, some parts of the northern regions, northeast regions, savannah regions, there are some parts that do not have any at all. We have identified them, and we are going to intentionally, consciously ensure that institutions, senior high schools there have been improved, have been resourced to a level where learners would love to go into such educational institutions. So be assured that the agenda for improvement is a national agenda. Right. It is not only targeting just elite schools, elite cities and not just towns and all that. No, we are cutting across the entire country.
Now, talk to us about the current state of the placement process. We know that the minister has been quite concerned about the pressure that has been there in the last few days, parents and wards getting quite frustrated. What, per the information you've gathered, is the latest with just 2 or 3 days for schools to reopen?
All right. So the first is that for all the category A schools we have in the country, before the placements are even done, we go to the headmasters to declare vacancies based on the spaces they have, so that learners are posted there. We had 79,000 vacancies declared across all the category A schools. Could you believe that about 340,000 learners picked category A schools? So we are literally contending with 79,000 vacancies against 340,000 people who are desiring to go into those schools. And so naturally, no magic can allow that 340,000 people be squeezed into a 79,000 capacity space. So that's the first one. And that's for those who desire to be in category A schools at all costs. It was never going to be possible because of the numbers and the figures involved here. So that's one. Number two, the target was to post 590,000 learners. In fact, those are the numbers that qualified for placements. Now, out of this number, we have posted over 580,000. Over 580,000. So far as we are concerned, a significant majority of the learners have been placed. In fact, if you go to the resolution centers, where you find a lot of parents complaining bitterly and a lot of parents castigating and sharing frustrations over the placement, you will realize that every single one of them have their ward already placed. So the placement itself is not really the issue. The issue is that most of these parents want to change from one school to the other. And we are saying, and we continue to plead with them, that it is literally not possible that the computer or the Ghana Education Service will place people where they desire. All right. That's the more reason we gave options that a learner would select 7 schools and give the 7 schools to us. So once you give us 7 good schools, the assumption is that these are schools you are okay with and comfortable with. So if we place you in any of those 7 schools, either your first or your 7th choice, or your 5th or your 4th or your 3rd choice, the assumption is that these are schools you yourself selected and gave to us to work with. And that's exactly what we have done. If you are coming back to say that you don't want this school, you want your first choice, you want your grade A, it doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem with the placement. There's not. It is your desire and your taste that is making it look like there's a problem with the placement. And so far as we are concerned, a significant majority of the learners have already been placed. And trust me, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, these are the reporting days. A learner can choose any of these 3 days, because we understand that over 590,000 learners traveling across the country, there could be transportation pressures and all that. So if you are not able to report on Saturday, you can go on Sunday. If you are not able to report on Sunday, you can go on Monday. Trust me, about 590,000 learners will be reporting to the various senior high schools over the weekend.
Yes. Thank you, Daniel. Certainly it's a conversation that we'll still be having in the coming days. So thank you for speaking to us on it, and we'll be getting back to you subsequently.
Right, thank you very much.
Daniel Fenye is the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Education. And as I asked, if you're a parent, a guardian, or a ward, do send us a message and let us know what you make of this proposal and how the school placement exercise has gone so far for you. Have you been able to get the right placement for your ward? What exactly are the challenges you faced? And we also heard the last few days that some persons had been arrested in connection with this school placement, where some of the officers were requiring or demanding money from parents before they placed or replaced their wards in schools that they preferred. We are always live on 3FM 92.7. If you go to Facebook, we are there. On YouTube, we are there. So do send your messages in, and we'll be happy to share it with the rest of the world. We are shifting our attention to some other stories this evening, and civil society group Democracy Hub has dragged the government of